Hello, and welcome to the Pro Pilot Playbook podcast. I'm Sean Ritchie, and I'm joined here with...
I'm Mike Martin.
All right, so this is our episode 0. This is the short little, less than 10-minute episode we wanted to shoot here to kind of introduce the podcast and what we're all about here, which is enabling people to become pilots faster and cheaper. That is the entire mission of the Pro Pilot Playbook.
That's right. With the pilot shortage that we're in the midst of in our industry, we know there's a big need for pilots right now. We know it's a wonderful job. So we want to bring information to you weekly, or maybe even more than that, about the industry, what's happening, how to become a pilot, what it's like to be a pilot, the different types of jobs. We're going to interview pilots on this podcast and give you an idea of what it's like day to day for them. We'll talk about qualifications for pilots, what you need to do to become a pilot. Anything you can that can help you break into this industry, we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I really want you, if you're listening right now or watching, to think of the Pro Pilot Playbook as your personal pilot career mentor. I mean, right. We're going to be covering every aspect of this thing, from whether you haven't driven to the airport yet, to maybe you're in the time building stage of your career. You've already got your commercial certificate and your multi-engine certificate, and you're working on getting to the 1,500 hours to get to the airlines. We're going to be relaying some hacks and tricks, tips to get that time. And, one of the things we went into this thing with, the mindset is, this is practical, real world advice from executors, not educators. Mike and I are both corporate pilots, and we do this stuff for a living every day. And well, because we are corporate pilots, we got all this time on our hands.
Yeah,
that's one of the great things about this career field, this industry.
Oh, yeah.
That we'll be relaying to you throughout the episodes here. But it gives us time to do fun stuff like this and, give back to an industry that's given us so much.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Particularly in the cold months of December here in Cincinnati, there's not a lot going on. So when you have 8 or 10 days off in a row, you got to find something to do with your time. So what better way but to help you guys? So we appreciate you taking the time to listen, and hopefully you'll get some valuable information from this. And we've got a lot of ideas. We were just brainstorming off camera about an outline that we've got out for ideas for episodes, and there's just a ton of information that we'll be able to relay to you. And some of it is mentioned in our course, the Pro Pilot Playbook, on how to get into aviation, but some of it is not going to be that specific, but we're going to try to bring you as much information and free content as we can.
Right. All right. So let's just, while we got the time here in episode 0, I'll introduce myself and you can do the same.
Great.
So I already mentioned my name is Sean. I'm a corporate pilot. I actually am a little more than a corporate pilot. I own an aircraft management company. So I manage, what that means, managing an aircraft. An airplane, a jet, is a complex machine that needs constant attention. And think of it like managing an apartment building. There's items that are always needing to be worked on or fixed, either on a time schedule, parts need to be changed out, or something breaks. And because it's an expensive machine, a multi-million-dollar machine, there's always a line of people out the door waiting to rip off somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Because all these things are big numbers. So I take care of aircraft, and I also fly them. And before that, I had flown for 2 different airlines, 4 different charter companies. So I've been around the block with in and out of many different facets of the industry here. But I started off just like any of you, going to the local airport and working on getting my private pilot's license.
Right.
I was going to the airport. I went in the military right after high school for money for college.
Air Force, right?
Yeah, went in the Air Force. I did not fly for the Air Force. I was a survival instructor in the Air Force. But I was going over to the local airport after I got off work, once a week, and taking flying lessons.
Gotcha.
And it was this little bitty airport out in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota. And many of the finer points of the Pro Pilot training method that we developed in our course came from some of the pitfalls and the roadblocks that I came in with training in that environment. With,
Gotcha.
With no airplanes, no instructors, and just desolate nothing in South Dakota.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about the survival instructor stuff. So if we ever crash land with this guy, he'll in the jungle, he'll take care of you, right?
Right.
Maybe we should do a survival course.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I taught the guys what to do in the jungle, in the Arctic, in the desert, middle of the open ocean.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the worst conditions? Obviously, the middle of the ocean, right? Or
Yeah,
what between the jungle and the Arctic? What would you rather be in?
Oh, jungle or Arctic? When I was younger, I'd probably say the Arctic because there's, I didn't mind it. But now that I'm 43,
You'll take the bugs and the humidity.
Yeah, I will go jungle 100%.
I hear you. Great.
So, Mike, tell us about your background.
Yeah, so I kind of do a similar job that Sean does. I manage one airplane based in Cincinnati. It's a Learjet, and that I do keep track of the maintenance, all that type of stuff, the management day to day with the pilots, deal directly with the owner and his scheduling and arrange his transportation, ground transportation, travel needs, as well as the crew travel needs, all that type of stuff. Make sure we're compliant. The airplane is partially managed by a management company that we do some charter on the airplane, so people also rent the airplane other than the owner, and we do some unique trips for those folks. That's my current job now. I've flown all different models of Learjets. That's kind of my specialty, Bombardier products. I'm on a Lear 40 now. I've flown the 45, the 60, the 31, the 35, all different men's, and then also some international airplanes. I flew the Challenger 604 for a major charter company and flew all over the world in that. I've got multiple North Atlantic crossings over to Europe, that type of stuff. And then I've flown for a bunch of different local companies here in Cincinnati, on different missions. So, yeah, I love what I do. I love to help people get involved, and there's never been a better opportunity than now. In fact, there's a little bit of jealousy, right? Because it was when Sean and I were starting. I don't want to speak for him, but it was extremely difficult to get a job.
100% exact opposite as it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, we would do anything and basically work for free to get any time in airplanes, and now you have the reverse. Now people are just begging you to go flying.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why we created this whole thing.
Right.
There was not 1 week goes by I don't hear about somebody hiring or somebody needing a pilot or something like that. And then peppered in throughout those phone calls is a family friend or somebody I haven't talked to in years, and Sean, are you still flying? Well, little Ben is grown up now and he says he wants to be a pilot. Do you have any tips for him? I'm like, wow, you know what? There are a lot of little things I've picked up. I've been doing this for 25 years. Well, it'll be 25 years here in about a month. This is December of 2019 now.
Yeah.
And I started putting together things in my head like, wow, there are a lot of throughout our time of training and trying to get this job or somebody I heard was hiring, and what do I do and how do I submit this resume, or man, if only I would have did this when I was working on my commercial rating, I would have saved probably $8,000.
Yeah.
All those little tidbits of information that I have floating around in my head that are just, I could be sharing with people.
Yeah.
So putting them all together in one spot was really the idea here.
Yeah.
And I truly believe what we've put together is going to save people years of time and thousands of dollars in their training.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're gonna be bringing you that stuff in this podcast. That's what we're doing.
And we're not just flashing the pans. I mean, this company that we've created, ProPilot Playbook, has been in the works for over 2 years, and we talked about it. We've got hundreds and hundreds of hours in development, and the same thing we're going to pour into this podcast, and we plan on being around for a really long time because we both really enjoy this stuff. So like I said, I hope we can provide some great content. You guys can learn something, and most of all, we want a few of you that are watching to start your career in aviation.
Right. If you have any questions for us, you'd like to have us answer on the air, you can always email us at podcast@propilotplaybook.com.
Right. And the chances are, if you have a question somebody else is thinking of it too. So, you send that in, we'll take a look at it, we'll answer it for everybody to hear. And there's no question is a dumb question. Our mission is a little unique in that we are tailoring this to people that literally have no idea. I mean, you may have not even ever flown before, even as a passenger on an airplane.
Right.
Because there's so many of you out there, and that's what this is for. So don't be overwhelmed. If you are somebody that has a lot of experience, you might still find this interesting, the content that we go over. But this is really
absolutely. Yeah, I can think of several episodes. Somebody, either that's halfway through their training or somebody that's already done with their training, just building time, trying to get to that 1,500 hours. I know we've got some great content for those people too.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be a good time.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and check out the podcast. You can also go to propilotplaybook.com and check out some more of our stuff there.
Sounds good.